Alright, guys, this is the moment I've been waiting for. And I wanted to. This is the moment I've been waiting for, and I have been waiting for the moment to really get this dream to where I can draw. Not dream. I knew I was going to say that. I knew I was going to say it. Okay. This is not a dream. This is something that really happened to me on Thanksgiving night. I'm in the parking lot, getting ready to pick up my friend at Capital Metro job. This is what it looks like when you come in. This is a street. You turn in, you drive in. Buses are in the back. You check in right here with somebody. They stand there and they check the buses in, write the number down. And people who work there, you drive in. There's a security guard watching everybody. Drive in, you go and you park. When you get past the security guard, people who work here, you have to punch the button and say that you work for Capital Metro, and then there's a second floor and you go up. That's where everybody gets their hire paperwork and stuff like that. Okay, so excuse me, this was 2 years ago. Time flies by so fast. Yeah, I want to say about 2 years ago. I'm really trying to remember exact date times. So what you're looking at is, oh God, Thanksgiving night. I decided to smoke weed, and I decided after a long period of time of not doing anything, I'm the Lord's child and I'm in my in and out stage, and I decide that I want to smoke weed and have sex in the same night on a Thanksgiving night. Didn't think it meant anything, but I thought to myself deceptively that didn't really think too much of it. I like to rile up the old flesh every now and then. It's been 6 months, it's been 8 months, since I fornicated or did anything, and here I am, a believer, doing this stuff. So I hit up somebody I know it's wrong. I do it anyway, and I'm not thinking, how many of us do it? You don't put your heart in a place of conviction. You just make it neutral. I need to get off. You know what I mean? It's going to be fun. You think about the person. You find out a way in your mind to blot it out. I know I'm not the only one. So back to this live experience. This was a live experience. I came from the person's house that I fornicated with that night after coming from my parents' house from Thanksgiving. Gosh. And I drive into the parking lot. I'm sorry, I'm yawning. I guess I'm tired. I drive into the parking lot and I park. And I'm listening to music. I'm waiting on my roommate to get off. And I'm just waiting in the parking lot. But my drive to this parking lot at Capital Metro, soon as I finished and leaving the person's house, I could feel God, like in the sky. I could feel him from where he was. And God was really upset. He was furious to have seen his daughter. I mean, I just want to say something, let's just say God wasn't watching me while I was doing my fornication, but he knows. And, God was angry. And I could feel like so close, like the breath of his nostrils, or he was like breathing over my life. And I just want to say what I felt. Feeling God the way that I did, God could take anybody. He could cause the whole world to be blown up in 3 minutes, 5 minutes. He could. Oh, I don't know why I'm yawning so much. Take everybody to hell and give them a hell experience all at the same time, simultaneously, and save everybody. God is a gentleman, and he truly gives everybody choice and dominion. How I figure this out is what he did to me this night. Okay, so I just come back from fornicating, somebody that I know. And when I used to fornicate, before I was married, I wasn't married. I was picky. I wasn't all over the place and sleeping with everybody. I was picky. So I finished and came and sat down in this car waiting on my roommate to get off, a good friend of mine. And I'm in the car listening to music. The light post is on, and the parking lot is filled with light. And all of a sudden, everything went black. I'm sorry to, speak long to get that little part out, but every detail of what I'm going to say, this is a big experience that happened to me, and I want to explain it just as exaggerating as it was. This was not a dream or a vision. I don't want to say whether in or out of the body I didn't know. I want to say I knew and I could feel as I was sitting in this car when everything went black. That's why I got the shade. Everything went black. I couldn't see anymore. And I felt myself like sink within myself, and I began to go downwards. I'm inside the earth. I go downwards. And I'm thousands of miles away from earth and my body. And I'm drawing inside of the earth. And I could hear myself. I couldn't write down everything that I said because it would be too much. Because I was asking God questions. Jesus. And I was just like, where am I? Where am I? And one of the first thing I noticed was I couldn't breathe. I couldn't see this. What I'm drawing to you. That's why I drew all around it. Everything was pitch black. It was pitch black dark. And I continue to ask Jesus. Jesus is here in his darkness. And I could feel him. People don't, I'm looking at my comments. There are a lot of people saying they don't like to hear me say telepathically. I am not trying to offend anybody at all. Not whatsoever. Me and Jesus was not communicating with our mouths at all. Not whatsoever. There was a whole bunch of divine sensings and discernment. Okay. And I could feel Jesus, and he's silent. And he's there allowing me to feel how people feel when they're in hell. And immediately I noticed that there was a demon behind me. And oh my gosh, it growled. And when the demon growled, I could feel that this thing was a creature. Oh my gosh. Like, I don't even know. Words cannot express. That's all I want to say. When this thing growled, I knew it was a creature. I don't even want to say it was a demon. It was a creature. Okay. So when it did that, it just set the alarm off, and I started Jesus, yelling Jesus for a while, and Jesus was silent. And he was just, I could feel him in the darkness, no matter how dark it was. I could feel that he was right there watching me. And I could feel and hear his thoughts. He was quiet and he did not want to respond because he wanted me to take in my atmosphere, discipline, and show me that hell was real. And at this particular time, simultaneously, a lot of things was going off in my mind. Where is my body? I know that I'm miles and miles away from it. I was trying to scrape and get to my body and I couldn't. And I kept thinking about my body and where it was, and I felt cold. It's like being in smack dab in the middle of winter and someone comes and snatches your jacket off your body and you're cold. So my spirit, my soul felt so cold without my body. And I was looking for my body. And I knew that I couldn't travel, not even within a week or a day to get there. I knew that it was, I knew it would take probably some years to get back to my body, how far away I knew that I was. I was thousands of miles away from Earth. And I had this knowing that without my body, I'm in trouble. Without my body, I'm doomed. And I was scraping to get back to it. I knew that it was my protection. So, all the while, simultaneously, things happen. God allowed me to feel for a second my body. And it was empty. It was like a carcass. Like my eyes was tight. Real tight. There was no life in my body. When God allowed me to feel from where I was, I could feel from where I was that my body there was nobody in it. And I'm in hell. Jesus never goes, you're in hell. He stays silent. And then finally Jesus spoke. After letting him, allow me to, sit here for a little bit. I don't know how long it was. Jesus never revealed to me how long it was, ever till this day. Jesus finally speaks and he says, I didn't write it. He says, something is trying to drag you from earth to here. Something is trying to drag you from earth to here. He didn't say a demon, even though Jesus knew that it was a demon. He allowed me to get the understanding by the demon putting his hand on my shoulder. He said, something is trying to drag you from earth to here. And when he said that, I knew where I was. And I was freaking out. At the same time, I could read through the lines what Jesus was saying about what he's saying. And I knew, from the feeling of my body being so far away and couldn't breathe and the demon behind me, I knew I was in hell. And Jesus knew not to say the word hell to me while I was there. He knew that I was going to freak out, but I was yet still freaking out anyway. And I was just like, oh my God. And I've spoken about this experience. This is not a dream or a vision. And this is my first time being able to draw the best I can about the whole scene, about what happened to me. And this changed my life. Had a lot of experiences, man, but the fact that I knew that I didn't have a near-death experience, or that I wasn't sleep or a vision, or I wasn't in surgery, none of that. I felt God as I was driving from this guy's house after fornication and doing drugs. And as I was driving, I could feel God. And he was upset. I could feel like his nostrils of his breath on the back of my ear. And I heard him say, I don't want to do what I'm getting ready to do, but I'm going to do it. But I have to. So God never intended for me to experience hell like that. But my rebelliousness caused and cried out for discipline. And when God loves you, he'll do a lot of things for you. Am I special? Never. Absolutely not. It was a warning, and it was a true live experience. Sorry for it being so long. When Jesus was talking to me, his voice was very, very calming, very neutral but authoritative at the same time, filled with love and authority. When he speaks, it kind of shakes you a little bit. And I'm sitting here like listening to the Lord, but at the same time, I'm like, where am I? 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 I'm freaking out. And let me tell you how Jesus treated me this night after fornication, because I know a lot of you guys were in fornication, and I'm not justifying anything. I want to tell you, because I'm one of the most rebellious of people, but I want to talk about God's love, even though you're caught up in something. God knows you're in. You're not on anybody else's time but God's time. So somebody can call themselves judging you all day long. Judging you shall be judged. Be careful what you're saying, what you do to people, because judging you shall be judged. God is real about that. Okay. God was there, of course, observing what Jesus was there with me doing. But I remember the Lord picking me up after a while being silent, and this demon behind me, and I couldn't breathe, and crying out for Jesus, asking him this whole time, where was I? He began to carry me. It seemed like it didn't take that long to get there or to go back. You know, Jesus was going pretty fast back to the earth when I ended up back in the car in my body. But he put me in there very slowly. But he took me out quicker than he put me back in my body. So as I feel the Lord going back to earth, I kept freaking out this whole time, asking Jesus, where am I? Jesus never responded to me until we got back from under like the ground, under Capitol Metro parking lot surface. Not until I got like this close back to the car in my body. He said, it's okay. Jesus said, it's okay. It's okay. He said, you're in the parking lot of Capitol Metro. Jesus never told me that I was in hell. Jesus knows me very well. Jesus knows you very well. He knows the type of things that scares you. He knows your fears. And Jesus said the word here when we were in hell. He said, something's trying to grab you from earth to here. Drag you from earth to here. He said drag. He said the word drag, dear Lord Jesus Christ. And he was very loving. He never said hell. And he never mentioned it to me. He just said, it's okay. It's okay. You're in the parking lot of Capitol Metro. And when I got back into my body, I remember before I left, I was sitting there listening to music. And when I went back into my body, I went slow and my eyesight came back slowly. And slowly I began to see 100%. And I knew that I had just had a experience. And excuse me if my light is going dark. Let me turn it up. I knew I just had an experience, and the Lord allowed me to experience everything that I did. But this was after fornication. This was after fornication. It was pitch black dark. I couldn't see that down there. I'm just, drawing a visual. But when I came back, I couldn't believe what had just happened to me. And I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. I don't know how God did it, but he did it. And when you leave dimensions, it's so crazy. When you come into this dimension, you come in. When you leave and go out, you leave out. And it gives you two different kind of feelings when you come into the earth realm and when you leave out. When you leave out of this dimension of earth, it feels so different and it's more real. We're like in a realm that's like protected from the real true effects. Like our body protects us, the flesh, from the spirit. It's just too potent what you go through. You guys be blessed with watching this video. I know I spoke and it was kind of rested on the camera, but I just want to give you a visual. Please rewind it back. I know I spoke a lot, but I went into detail about what happened to me. This was not a dream or a vision. This was real. After fornicating one night on Thanksgiving night, I'll never forget it. It's a marker for me in November. And you know what's crazy? I'm not re-signing my lease, and my lease I have to leave out of here November 30th. That's just crazy. So I want to thank God for giving me this live experience, and those who don't know Christ, please give your life to him. It's a serious thing. People are trying to warn you. I want to do all that I can. These dreams and everything wasn't made for me to sit on. It was made for me to draw and share every single last one of them to help save people, okay? You guys be blessed.